Hey, everyone. So, with the holidays coming up, we have Thanksgiving in a couple of weeks. If you're watching this at the time of posting. Hey everyone, so with the holidays coming up, I wanted to come on here and give a little bit of information on how we can best navigate through these times. So I want to go through some high-level things. We're going to talk about three different tips that will set you up for success through the holidays. Now, we know this can be a busy time of year, holiday parties, family parties, you're out, there's always drinks, there's open bars, there's trays of food and cookies getting delivered. So it's really hard to really limit the amount of those that we're eating. And, what we've seen and what studies have showed is that people typically put on 2 to 5 pounds from that October to through the New Year's time period, starting with Halloween and finishing through New Year's. And what happens from there too is that people keep that weight on. So every year you're getting potentially 2 to 5 pounds. If you're going all full out with no control, no thought, no intentionality between these holidays. So, over 5 years, that's 10 to 25 pounds that don't go away. So if you kind of think back on past holidays, how did you react? How did you eat? How did you manage what you were consuming during those holidays? And 79% of the population do overlook the holidays as a potential source of where they can kind of help manage that weight and manage that health. So how can we work through these next 6 weeks? Again, we'll talk about some three tips, but what I want you to think about going into this is, where were you last year, weight wise, health wise, fitness wise, and where will you be a year from now if you really want to start making that change and start being more conscious? And we'll talk about it where it doesn't need to be, you can't have that turkey, you can't have those sides, you can't have those drinks, but where do you want to be in that year from now, right? Next holiday season, and is it going to be in a different place? And that's okay if it's not, right? Maybe it's not the right time, or maybe you got stuff going on, totally fine. But like, we can start making those changes, making those plans now, and start at least considering it. So, I mentioned it's busy season, everyone's going around doing different things, and you're eating a ton of different foods. So just trying to remember that not everybody's working towards the same goals you are potentially, and that you might need to be patient with somebody who's like, oh, come on, have another drink, have another cookie, like it's okay. So be patient with them. Again, remind them maybe, they're close family members. Hopefully they're supporting you through this, but that you're trying to better yourself, trying to better your health and better your fitness. So we want to discuss how we can avoid completely derailing any progress that we've started to make, but also set ourselves up for the new year. And a lot of this can be starting just from the mental aspect of things. And as we go through this, it might be hard to go, I've been working hard to get a diet. I've been working hard to, not eat as much and kind of watch what I'm eating. So it's okay to enjoy the times, right? It's always that balance of enjoying it, but not overdoing it. So indulge, but be conscious of what you're eating. And, if you just focused on every time there was a holiday, right? How many birthday parties do you have? There's Cinco de Mayo, there's St. Patty's Day, there's stuff all year round that you can make excuses for on why you're overeating. But the holidays, these time of year, the cold, the dark, it's starting to kind of all come together. So it's hard mentally to get through that. Whereas, stuff in the summer, 4th of July, might be a little bit easier to kind of back off. Right, middle of summer, you're in a bathing suit a lot. So just something to kind of consider as you work through this. So let's go into tip number one. Right? Having that all or nothing mindset. We just talked about mindset. Wow, how can we go into this going, all right, I've had 1 or 2 cookies, it's already shot. Let's just have as many as possible. So wanted to get into that. It's very easy to overdo it. And it's okay if you have 1 or 2, just be mindful of what you've had and what your goals are, right? It's always going back to what am I working towards? What are my goals? What are my values? Who am I doing this for? Maybe it is just for you, but maybe it's more importantly for your wife or your husband or your kids. And so just remembering who you're sacrificing this for, right? Those cookies now might not seem like a big deal, but again, those 2 to 5 pounds that we mentioned earlier, right? That's going to go with you down the road potentially. So think about what do you enjoy about the holidays, right? Maybe it is the food, maybe it's the people, maybe it's just kind of relaxed atmosphere that maybe exists at work or just in general, right? I always find people are happier around the holidays. You know, it is getting dark and it is getting colder. People are just more joyful. So, taking that time and reflecting on that, right? But remembering all or nothing, right? Doesn't mean you starve yourself, doesn't mean you don't enjoy it, but it doesn't mean you have to go over the other. And just having that balance as we go through everything. And finding that joy, finding that reflection, that gratefulness, the thankfulness that you have, that will kind of help distract from potentially getting all of the other foods and stuff like that. So just remain present of your thoughts, your actions, and your choices, and just enjoy it, right? One day does not make or break everything. We can be managing it, but it doesn't make or break absolutely everything. So moving on to tip number 2. Not every season in your life has to be a season of major changes, progress, or growth, right? Maybe this is just let's try to maintain where we're at. Let's try to not go the other direction. Let's try to limit the damage during the holidays, right? Let's enjoy it. Again, is that balance, but we don't have to try to continue to maintain that pound per week that we're losing or whatever progress you've made so far. It's okay that you maybe take a little bit backwards, but ideally we're at least maintaining through this tough time. So kind of setting yourself a goal on what direction you want to go, and what one thing you maybe want to maintain during these holiday times, with all the extra stuff that might be around. So, one thing might be just like, hey, limit the cookies to, 2 cookies or, 2 servings of turkey, right? Let's try to figure out exactly what we're going to shoot for going into each and every meal as we go through it. Or maybe it's not eating, maybe it's increasing that activity level. It's like, okay, hey, I'm only working out 2 days a week. The holidays coming around, maybe I want to work out those 3 days. So coming up with those specific goals will kind of help us work through those tough times. And thinking through also what are the challenges, what are the barriers that you might run into through these holidays, right? Unexpected events, unexpected family members dropping in or unexpected parties coming up. Like, what could you potentially foresee? Or you have to travel a while, and you might end up stopping for fast food. Like, how can we prevent those unnecessary stops so that way we can enjoy the Thanksgiving dinner a little bit more? So having a plan, having a goal will kind of help work through those. And also bringing yourself a little healthier treat, right? Maybe you know what the serving is, or maybe you're responsible for bringing a side. Bring something that is healthy. Focus on making sure you get that, and eating that first will help curb the appetite for later, maybe keeping you from going for that second plate of food. But creating that healthier option for yourself and maybe other people like it too, and that'll spread out to them, right? Maybe you'll influence them on their health and fitness journey, or get them started on too. Another thing it's going to come down to is alcohol, right? It's super abundant in all of the parties, all the events that you're going to. That's always going to be an option, right? All the festive drinks that people are going to make. So making sure we drink our water throughout the day, as usual. We should be doing that anyway, but trying to make sure we hit that, and then especially those days. And at a party, you're gonna have a drink, have a water or 2 after. And that'll just keep that thirst level, keep you hydrated as much as possible. And while you're drinking water, keep you drinking alcohol. So that will help in general there. And then tip number 3, trying to stay in that routine as much as possible. We are creatures of habit. Our body ideally wants to go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time, kind of go through those same timings. We'll adjust, but it takes time. So it's easy to stay up late and sleep in for the holidays. Football, our games are on late, you're at parties late, so you want to make up that sleep in. When you have to shift back to work and back to, real life, it's going to be difficult to make that change. You're going to be tired. Chances are you're going to skip your workout, or maybe you didn't prep your meals and therefore you're going to stop and grab food. So it kind of cascades into one another. So do your best to stay on schedule as much as possible, because it'll help you coming out of the holidays. And a study was actually done that says that 45% of people take a break from exercise during the holidays, and that causes them to feel tired and fatigued, and it just ruins any progress that you may have made. So continue moving through the holidays, continue getting your sleep, and then making sure you take time to recharge. Maybe a little bit of alone time, visiting family, being out with coworkers outside of work. All of that stuff can be a little tiring. So taking time for yourself. So as I kind of want to wrap things up here, during the holidays, it's easy to struggle with prioritizing eating healthy, exercising, and getting enough sleep. So a lot of people, about a quarter of people, don't really think about what they're doing or what they're eating or how they're acting during the holidays. So just kind of be mindful, right? It always comes back to mindfulness. How are we doing? What are we eating? How are we feeling? What can we adjust? What can we change? Can we just be more mindful? Can we limit the amount of unhealthy foods that we're going to be eating? And then what that'll do is that'll help coming out of the holidays be a little bit easier, be a little more of a smooth landing, as opposed to, drinking a lot, eating a lot, staying up late, sleeping in, and then when you have to go back to work, after the New Year's or after Thanksgiving, it takes a while to get things going. You're not going to be back in your routine. So just working through that and just really be forgiving on yourself. It's super easy to kind of beat yourself up for, I shouldn't have drank that much, or shouldn't have eaten that much, right? It's okay. It happened. There's nothing you can do about it. Move on, get back to the gym, or working out or exercising, getting back to meal prepping, eating the healthy food as much as possible. So that being said, hopefully those were helpful. So again, I'd like to wrap things up by saying, take a moment or two, reflect on everything that kind of I talked about. If there's anything that specifically stood out to you, I'd love to hear about it. If there's something specific that you can take with you, please take with you. Let me know how it went, or if there's something you need help with, I'd love to hear about it. So that being said, too, if you like this content, please subscribe to my channel here. My Instagram is ZachBush924. And then also, if you're a father, a friend of mine and I started a community on school called Fit Fatherhood. We are focused on making sure that we bring dads together to improve their health and fitness while maintaining and building a good relationship with their wife, their kids, their spouse, and doing that via community and weekly group calls and one-on-one calls. Just trying our best to kind of bring dads together and make sure things are improving for them, right? You got to take care of yourself first to take care of everybody else. So getting the dads together and helping everybody build that healthier, fitter mindset and community. So if you want to join, click on the link below. I'd love to see you there. If you need anything else or found this helpful, please let me know as well.